This is Hemi from the Beyond staff. Today I've got two wheels, set up here. Well, as for what I'm going to introduce, well, I thought I'd do something about choosing wheels, and the wheels themselves. The wheels I'll use for the explanation are, Beyond's original wheels, the Super Moo. Chrome, and also white. Well, we also have one black one equipped on a car, but, well, I don't have the black one ready here right now, so I think I'll just, use these two for the explanation. And, as for what I'm explaining, it's about the wheel sizes. Even if, well, people worry quite a lot. For the Jimny or Jimny Sierra, well, for the Jimny, the size options themselves are very few. For other cars, for example, what's a good example for a K car, like the Copen, or maybe the Wagon R? Well, for even bigger cars, regular saloons and such, there's quite an abundant variety of sizes when choosing wheels, and well, depending on which one you choose, the appearance can change drastically. Well, in the case of the Jimny. Actually, for the Jimny JB64, the thickness of the wheel, well, would be this part here. This part is mostly, 5.5J. Well, the genuine part is also 5.5J. 5.5J is pretty much the standard, or you could say it's practically the only choice when selecting. And one more thing regarding size, for the Jimny 64, it would be 16 inches. Well, I think you can consider this pretty much the only choice as well. Well, yeah, well recently, 17 or 18 are coming out. They are coming out. But for the 64, 17 and 18-inch compatibility is still probably quite rare, I think. So when choosing wheels, it's 16 inches, with a width of 5.5J and a slightly different point is, the inset. Well, in the past, we called it offset, but in recent notation, it's written as, inset or, outset. Outset. So, just in case, well then, first of all, what exactly is an inset? For instance, 5.5J by 16, here and here. And, behind that, you often see notations like plus 22 or plus 20. Well, if you look above that, the term inset will pop up. It pops up. And you're probably wondering what that 22 or 20 means. But, essentially, from the, center, the central part of this wheel, 22 millimeters outwards, it indicates that this mounting surface here will be placed there. Therefore, if that number is, on the larger side, from 22, getting bigger and bigger, like 40 in extreme cases, this disc surface will gradually come out more and more to the front like this. However, well, in the case of the Jimny, we don't use such offsets, so, well, 40 and things like that appear for other cars. So for the Jimny, well, 22, well, or 20, is generally going to be the standard. Therefore, based on the width here, from the center part here, towards the front, well, the face side, the mounting surface sits at 22 millimeters, well, 20 millimeters out. And, well, if we compare them, in the case of the Sierra, the wheel width is, 6J, and, it gets wider. And furthermore, this mounting surface here, for the Sierra, like with ours, relative to here, it sits at minus 5 millimeters inwards. So, well, because of the differences in things like the wheel width, the sense of depth changes a little bit. So for the Jimny, since we use the 22 type, there are many wheels where the disc face inevitably sticks out a bit towards the front. Well here, in the Sierra's case, it has fenders, so the car has the privilege of being able to run these kinds of deeper rim wheels. So, well, for the Jimny mostly, the sizes are 5.5 J16, with an inset of 22, well, or 20. But what you have to be slightly careful about is, using 22 and, using 20. With this 2 millimeter difference, I think there will be a slight change in the tire size as well. Well, normally, with a standard tire, the size used is 185/85/16, which I think is very common. Boo. For customers fitting something like 225, 70/16, that 2 millimeter difference might just change how it looks from the fender. So, in that case, I think you need to be a bit careful when choosing the inset. So, well, for the Jimny JB64, 5.5 J16, with an inset of 20 or 22 is generally the standard size. And next, the Sierra. For the Sierra, you have a bit more choice. Well, regarding our own Supermoon wheels, they are 6J16. Well, genuine is 15 inches, but, well, I think most people probably use 16 rather than using 15. And regarding our Supermoon, it's 6J16, and for the inset, this time, instead of calling it an inset, since it goes to the minus side, becomes an outset of 5. Well, the notation has changed a bit recently. So, well, if you think about it from the older perspective, well, normally, I think the notation offset -5 is easier to understand. But, well, since it has changed slightly now, the size is technically outset -5. And for the Sierra, as to what you can choose, for the inset and outset, there are about 3 types available. Well, with us, you can choose Mini, S5, 0, and 5 sizes in the case of the Sierra. So, out of those, using the -5 will bring the wheel itself further outwards. And furthermore, the wheel rim itself, visually, will be slightly deeper than a 5. However, just like with the 64, if you use a -5, for example, if you fit two 35/70/16s, the protrusion might be a little bit borderline. And probably, maybe last time or the time before, or perhaps earlier, regarding tire sizes, I think probably, we have a comparison using our Sierra. So, well, if you take a look at that, I think it will be a helpful reference when choosing wheels. So if you're thinking you might want to use a slightly wider inset, wheel and tire perhaps, I think it might be better to use a 6J with a +5 or a 0, because visually a -5 might stick out a bit. So for a -5, like the ones we have, the tire we recommend using is the 25/70/16. I think that's best. Well, if you could use this as a reference when choosing your wheels, you know, regarding how much they stick out and things like that, in your customization, like, you'll be able to choose wheels with a bit more attention to detail than other people, I think. Well, if there's anyone who is really struggling to decide on wheels, if you come and visit us at Aeon Mall Futsu, I think we'll be able to explain this in more detail. While looking at the cars, as you'd expect, there are quite a lot of people who want to fit a slightly different size to everyone else, whether it's for a Jimny or a Sierra. Actually, in the case of the Jimny, there are a lot of people who are quite interested in the 25/70/16, for example. And then, in the case of the Sierra, the number of customers wanting to fit the 235/70/16, well, or going even bigger with the 245/70/16, is really increasing. And we actually have a car fitted with the 235/70/16 tires ready to show you. So, well, I think we can explain a bit more while looking at the car. Oh, and finally, with our wheels here, this is the genuine cap for the rear. But we've adjusted the whole so you can use the genuine center cap. Quite often in this part, well, there are many cases where the genuine cap won't fit, or something like that. But ours is properly aligned and fits perfectly. And finally, here, you can use the genuine cap, just like this. So, if you have various things you want to discuss about the Jimny, by all means, if you come and visit us, we have staff here who are quite knowledgeable, so we'd be absolutely delighted if you could come and visit. Plus, we'd also appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and leave a like. We are very close to reaching 1,000 subscribers, so please do support us. This time, it was an introduction to our wheels. I'm hoping we can continue to introduce various things in this kind of way. Thank you very much for watching.